Clarity leads to progress. So many of us are just walking around blindly, just waiting for days to go by. It's like we're living like zombies. I see it all the time. People in the street, it's just like the speed at which most people move is just disappointing. It's depressing, to be honest with you. But it's because most of us don't have clarity. So clarity comes from two things: knowing what you want and knowing how to get there. So knowing what you want really can come from one of two things. It's clarifying a problem that you want to solve, or clarifying an outcome that you want to achieve. So if you look at the three areas, the three evergreen areas of life, you have health, wealth, and relationships. In these areas, you can have one or more problems or one or more outcomes that you want, or something that you want to improve, whether it's a relationship with a family member, a friend, a loved one, a spouse. Whether in health you want to improve your fitness level, you want to get your cholesterol down. Whether in finances you want to make more money, set yourself up to save more money, work on your retirement. There's always something that you can improve. But first you have to clarify what it is. Most of us, we just walk around with no plan in life, no clear next steps. And I heard somebody say something the other day, that there's no such thing as a lazy person. It's just a person who's not clear. You're unclear what to do next, and you're unclear of how your lack of action is affecting your situation. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through real quick how to get clear on what it is that you want, or what problem you want to solve, and just some high probability actions you can take to get there. So the first thing I want you to think about is, what is the main problem or main goal that you have in your life right now? So many of us, I think it's like 98% of us, just walk around with no goals. And then like over 80% of us, 85% of us, once we set a New Year's resolution, we're done within 2-3 weeks of it. I think it's like January 17th is National Quitter Day or something like that here in the US. It's just when everybody quits their New Year's resolutions. And it's just from a lack of clarity, right? So once you are clear on what you want, the first thing to do is identify the bottleneck. What's the main constraint? What's the reason you can't get there? I want you to think about that. Is it because if you're in a fitness context, is it because your environment is designed for you to fail? Open up an AI and ask it to walk through this with you. Clarify your goal with an AI and clarify what it is you can do to get there. What are the first steps, the bite-sized chunk steps you can take? The second thing that I want you to think about when it comes to setting up a plan towards taking action on your goal or your problem is identify the essential tasks. Now, there's a great book called Essentialism by this guy named Greg McKeown. And the biggest thing that I got from that book is so many of us, we waste time on tasks that are not needle moving. They're not heavy lifters when it comes to the outcomes that we want, right? For example, the biggest constraint in business is most of the time cash flow or marketing. But if you look at the average business owner's day, most of the time they're spending 80% of their day on admin. And it's mainly from two things, right? In my opinion, it's from a lack of clarity on what are the steps and what are the actions that you need to take to grow revenue, or B, it's fear. It's fear of one of two things: fear of what could happen. What happens if it goes well, and then fear of the opposite, which is what happens if it doesn't go well, which, spoiler alert, it's already not going well. So if you're wondering what it is that you need to do to get clear and identify the essential tasks that you need to take, use AI, think about this, pick up Essentialism and read it for a couple examples of essential tasks. When I'm currently trying to lose a little bit of body fat, right? I'm trying to get a little bit shredded here for the summer. I've identified 2 to 3 essential tasks. For me, it's eating a high protein diet in a caloric deficit, making sure I'm getting my daily activity, which is 1 hour of steps per day. I'm making sure I'm hitting my training sessions in the gym, 4 training sessions a week, making sure that all those sets in the gym are intense, and that's it. Those are the 3 essential tasks. And maybe sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night, stress-free. Those are the 3 to 4 essential tasks. For YouTube, for example, I only have 2 essential tasks: scripting videos and recording videos. Maybe you can throw in some editing and planning and stuff like that, But the point is not to count those tasks as the essential tasks, because they're not. They're not needle moving tasks. So I challenge you to think about that. Think about the ways that, all the ways that you are doing unessential things and how you can eliminate those. Oftentimes productivity and success come more so from elimination than addition. Subtraction before addition. The fastest way to find clarity is coaching or mentoring. So this is hiring somebody to clarify the path for you, to help you see what you're not seeing. My sister told me this great quote one time. She said, oftentimes we can't see the picture when we're in the frame. And I don't know if it's attributed to somebody else, but I thought it was just so powerful. Coaching and mentors, these people, ideally you can identify them by people who have walked the path that you want to walk, aka done the things that you want to do. These people will help you. I remember when I was playing college football, I was a quarterback, so I had a coach for passing, just a coach for throwing. And this person saw things and helped me identify my technique that had real world impact. There's business coaches that have real world impact, that see things that you can't see, that have done the things that you want to do. Same thing with a personal trainer, same thing with a therapist. These are people that help you work through your problems, reframe them, and think about them in different ways. The coaching, I always recommend, the coaches are always going to give you action steps. I recommend doing more than the recommended action steps. So for example, doing 1.5 times, 2x if possible, the action steps. So if they're asking you to, write 1,000 words per day, try to get in 2,000 words and get that feedback from them if you're already paying them, depending on what it is that you're doing, bring it back to the coach and say, hey, I did exactly what you asked me to do. And this was the results. Obviously take your own feedback, take your own notes, and use them if you're paying them to make adjustments and provide suggestions based on the feedback. Coaches love that. Most of the time people join programs and get coached and stuff like that, and there's like no execution. 80% plus people just no execution with anything. Obviously if you're in a position where you can't afford a coach or a mentor, when I started out, a lot of things I did, what I was interested in, I would always find a course. The thing with the course is you want to do your best to vet the person who is selling the course, and not necessarily dive too deep into the reasons why they're selling a course, but just make it make sense, kind of a thing. And same thing with that. I wouldn't get lost in the course material. My approach would be to implement as you go. Actually implement the first actionable advice before moving on to even consuming the second one. Most courses are structured in a manner where you can, start off with an introduction. They'll tell you why the course is important or something like that, and then move into just actionable advice. My recommendation would be implement the first piece of actionable advice before you consume the next piece of actionable advice. This, in my opinion, has always been the best approach for me, because I don't get lost in this world of information, and action actually creates information and not the other way around. So remember that action creates information. The final point I'll make is, as far as clarity leading to progress, is to take your own feedback. So whatever form of feedback that is, whether it's journaling, tracking, I like to do a little bit of both. However I can quantify progress, I will. In a fitness context, it's calories, it's daily steps. Did I hit my workouts? In a business context, it's how many outbound calls or marketing metrics like clicks, content pieces posted, interactions with customers, basic business funnel metrics. I would say try to track and get as much data as you possibly can with all of your systems that you're trying to improve. Sometimes data can be more, not sometimes, but most of the time data is more objective, and it will paint a different picture for you. So to wrap up, clarity leads to progress. Get clear on what you want, get clear on how to get there. Take the smallest action steps possible. Find somebody who's done it before and pay them. And take your own feedback, track and journal and reflect. Thanks so much. I think that if you implement these steps, you will not only find clarity, but make progress. Hope it helps.